I got no hair.
All right, here we go. And here we are with my special guests, the OGs of the MMA fight game. Welcome to the EazyDpodcast, episode number 5. So what's up, fellas? How you been? Well, first of all, let me introduce you. We got here Dirty Boy, Ceasar, Avila, former MMA fighter. Okay. We got over here the champ, Cage of Fire, Ulises, the Punisher, Cortez. And right here we got Ilario, the Barber, Castro. You said you weren't baptized with a nickname, bro?
I didn't get a nickname.
So I was thinking about it and I said, you know what? Let's call him the Barber. How's that?
I'll take it.
Yeah? So what's up, fellas? How the hell have you guys been?
Oh, by the way, we all got belts. You know, I'm just saying.
No, and
we all got a belt somewhere.
and actually, that's why I went ahead and posted those pictures. I'm glad you, bro. Those pictures you're hard to find, baby. You're hard to find. I was like, God damn, man. Even a mugshot. I was like, couldn't find a mugshot. I was like, I'll probably
erase your existence and you don't want to.
So. All right, who wants to kick it off, man? You know what? We'll do it like this, okay? Let's go ahead and crack one open.
Salud, salud.
Salud, boys.
Salud. Happy 4th of July weekend.
Yes.
Again,
Whiskey.
I'm so happy that you guys are here, bro. So, Ilario.
Yes, sir.
Give our listeners some background, baby, because what I want to talk about is like back in the day, the origins of our original fight team, you know, which we ended up anointing it Team United, but you were in Hopeville. You had the Hopeville Fight Club.
Yes.
So tell me, brother, like, you know, because I love stories like this. I love history. Okay. So where did we start? Where did Hopeville Fight Club start from?
Well, obviously for me it was just coming out of the Marine Corps. Back in the military, remember the smokers? We had smokers with small teams, and the Marine Corps implemented a military martial arts. So it kind of evolved from wrestling, and it progressed into a fight team. At that time, Pride was big in Hawaii. We did a lot of smokers and like small events, and my first amateur was Rumble on the Rock in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I thought it was the coolest thing. And had my ass handed to me. Like,
Rumble on the Rock. That was BJ Penn's promotion.
That was BJ Penn's promotion.
All right.
That's how I met those guys, and it was like they were 2000. They were barely coming into UFC, so they weren't really the biggest things out yet. And he blew up, and he became UFC. You know,
Gold.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer. So fast forward, come to Hopeville, working a normal 9 to 5 in the military. Started Hopeville Fight Club. And with Joe Diaz, Ernie Avila, Justin.
Yes.
It was quite a few of them. Zach Taylor was going. He was already training with some guys up in San Diego. And from there, it was just a lot of nothing because it was just training. One day I ran into Ulises. I think it was at Robert's.
No.
Whose party was that?
We're at a bar.
You guys.
I saw you at the Owl. You were a bouncer there.
Yeah.
You're a bouncer.
I forgot I was a bouncer too.
You were a bouncer.
No,
He was a bouncer.
It was a
shit
party
faced.
though. No, it was a party. It was a party. The doctor friend of ours. What's his name?
Jeez, a party.
Dr. Feelgood?
No, it was a party. He became a doctor. Anyways, yeah, this is my buddy Ulises, and this is Ilario. And I remember I was like, I've seen this dude before.
Yeah.
And he's an MMA fighter. And I was like, fuck, I guess I'm an MMA fighter too. So we started talking that way. I can't remember. I mean, there was too many parties at the Owl to remember. But it was just one of those where over time, I think you were IB grappling. And Johnny and Torres and the brothers and Norwoods and all those guys, they had their team, and the Valley had their team. And it just, one day, it was just like, hey, bro, can we come train with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. And then we trained at your house in, was it the garage or?
In the garage.
In the garage.
Yeah, that's where it was just like garage hardcore. I think you saw some of the pictures were just established there. And
Yeah.
a few months into it, I get a contract with the South program in Heber. And they opened up that little gym.
Yeah.
And we were teaching wrestling and basic stuff just for the youth program. And then next thing you know, it was just a wave of people. You say, hey, dude, we need to start something.
Yeah.
And the progression just went from there. And where Team United came from was, we sat down and talked, and we're like, dude, we're tired of fighting each other, because it was, the promotions were like, we're tearing it up in Mexico.
Yeah.
But we're fighting just each other, like, this can't work, you know? Like, so Ulises was like, dude, we need to sit down and figure out something else, and that's where Team United came into play, and I think he came up with the idea, and I was like, fuck, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I remember those days in Heber. Well, remember I started out with Jerry Salazar in Heber, out of his garage as well, you know? And I think I told a story, you know, at that time, I think it was like 270 pounds. Yeah. You know, I was a big boy, you know. And that's right about the time the Ultimate Fighter started to come around. As you guys know, you know, through my son, related to Jeremy Jackson, you know, and he was on the show. So that was kind of like, oh man, you know, really got me motivated, you know. Turning. And so I think for me, I think I was at, remember Sprint? Remember ¿cómo se llama? Ricky Calatayud.
Oh yeah.
Okay, he worked at Sprint.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I remember I ran.
I was like, who's Sprint?
Yeah, I remember. And so I remember I was at the cell phone place, and I heard him overheard a conversation talking about MMA training and this and that. And I kind of started asking him questions. Oh yeah, well we're in Hoville. Oh no, we're in Heber, and so he knew Jerry. You know, so then one thing led to another. Somehow I ended up over there, and then that's when you started coming in, and then it was Ruben Salazar, Pee Wee.
Those guys are going to Hoville. They were before the regulators, before they had their.
They were kind of moving around, right?
They show up, and we had a guy named Joe Torres. He was with us for a long time too.
Yeah, I remember Joe.
He pulled Pee Wee and Ruben. And then it just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna go train with these guys. Dale gas. Yeah. We didn't try to discriminate against any team, because we wanted to learn, you know, from everybody else.
And that was the whole thing, like Ilario said earlier, is when we started all this stuff back in the day. You know, I mean, the first time I heard of anything about MMA was Robert Tavares.
Yeah.
Robert Tavares was the first guy that I ever heard fought, and he fought in Mexicali. This is back in '97.
Yeah.
And the reason I knew him is because he was related to Pompeo Tavares. Okay. And he used to come in. I got to train with him, and I heard nothing but great stuff about Robert. He also helped us at Team United a couple times. He came in. So I had already heard about him doing it. I want to say, no, actually I graduated in '85, so this was like '95, '96 that he fought. And there was like a derby that was done in Mexicali. Yeah. They had already done a couple of them, but none of them organized like to this tournament type thing that Robert fought in. I think he ended up fighting 2 or 3 times that night.
Okay.
It was like a pride.
So, right. And so that's the first time I ever heard about that. Then obviously when I went to college, there was fights out there too. We all did the street fighting.
So
and all
where'd you go to college?
In Fresno.
In Fresno. See, that's one thing I was always like wondering, bro, because I knew you had a wrestling background, right? And I was always kind of like wondering, where did you get your jiu-jitsu knowledge? Because your jiu-jitsu was very underrated. A lot of people didn't see you coming. You know what I mean? And so when I got with you guys, I was kind of like, where the hell did he go learn this? Because
I still wonder that to this day.
Right? And I don't think we've ever really gotten to the bottom of that, because your jiu-jitsu was off the charts, bro. Like I said, you weren't belted, but bro, you had to have been either a upper purple or to a brown belt, because your jiu-jitsu was
maybe
just
towards the end of my career, maybe. You know
what I mean?
But one of the things I think, like I was saying, when it all started, and obviously when obviously Jeremy Jackson's one of the pioneers. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know.
He's younger than me, but you know he was in the fighting game professionally way earlier than me. You know? Also, a lot of people don't know Alex Garcia. Same thing. Before I was a champion, he was a champion at 19 years old. You know,
fought Nate Diaz
at Total Combat. You know, with Eric Del Fierro. So. This is like a long story, I guess, you know, but pretty much when it comes down to it is, you know, once, you know, I come from a wrestling background. I had boxing prior to this. Obviously, Nacho and I, you know, we grew up together since we were young bucks. Yeah. Getting in street fights, not by choice, but it was what it was. You know, back then it was just a lot of gangs going on, and we were just trying to survive, you know.
Yeah.
You live in the ghetto, you gotta fight. You gotta fight your way out of it.
Shout out to the east side.
East side, north side, west side, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think what got me into it more than anything was wrestling. Wrestling is really got me into it. Like I think once I was done with college, and then I went to the military, and then I came back. I wrestled a little bit in the military, like Ilario said. We had that combat training, and that's the first. I think I want to say that's the first introduction I had with jiu-jitsu, other than watching on TV and messing around, doing it on each other. You know.
And that's the thing. We didn't have YouTube like nowadays. We didn't have any of that stuff. So it was understanding moves and just perfecting them to our styles. Because that's all we had was our style. Like
So I always went back to my wrestling background when it came to jiu-jitsu. You know, once I came back, a couple of us wanted to wrestle. We started wrestling, and then the MMA. Jeremy Jackson was in it. Then Alex was in it. Then we started a team, which was IV Combat Grappling. A little bit. Like very close to that time, that's when I met Ilario. Yeah, and I do recall that party, but I recall more when I met you at the bar, and the reason being is because no, we didn't fight. You actually ended up slamming some guy over the bench right when I got there. Yeah, some guy was acting dumb at the bar, and harassing some girl or whatnot, and they told Ilario to kick him out, and Ilario's talking to him, and the guy got crazy, and Ilario just threw him over the bench. Yeah, and I was like. So once he told me he was then after that happened, maybe like 10 minutes later, they introduced me to him. He's over here already, getting a drink, and he was anda pedí el güey. Yeah, it's the truth.
It was like 15 years ago, brother. I think we're past the statute of limitations.
20 years.
I think at one point in time we're all gonna get a little embarrassed.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So then they tell me, there's Ilario, whatnot, and like he said, they had already introduced us, but. We ended up talking that, hey, I want to fight, bro. That's the day of the party. He didn't really get into it, but that day he got really into it about fighting. Yeah. Once I saw him that he got down, I was like, okay. Yeah. Let's see. You know me. Yeah. I always like, okay, let's see what you got. Yeah. So I invited him to my garage, and then after a couple sessions in my garage, I invited him to Eric Hackett's gym. Yeah. Eric Hackett used to be in the
Jiu-Jitsu Viper
Jiu-Jitsu right there in the little alleyway, and that's the first time we trained kind of like in that setting. Yeah. I got to roll with Ilario, but we actually went. I told him, hey, try to get some roll time with all the other guys. That way you get
zero technicality, bro. Had no idea what I was doing.
He did good though. He did good, and even though he was out of shape, the fighter in him. You know what I mean?
But you also had a wrestling background.
Yeah,
right?
I wrestled pretty much desde chiquito también, but it was. They call it, what was it called, like shoot fighting or something like that? I don't remember what they used to call
box, shoot fighting,
back in the day.
What it was.
Combat grappling. And there was so many different names for these. So you just kind of pulled into the areas where you felt comfortable. And at that time, it was literally head and arms, heel hooks, and arm bars. Whatever you can get, just get it. And then this guy's like, what are you doing, man? Just like, why are you heel hooking everybody? I was like, I don't know, I'm taking knees. That's all I know.
But see, that's like the beauty of wrestling. Yeah. You got jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, I give it its props. It's no joke. It's for real life scenarios, it's definitely effective. But good old All-American wrestling, bro, it's like for the base,
you're the dictator.
You can't beat it.
You're the dictator.
You can't beat it. All right, who got a phone on?
That's not me, homie.
That's not me? Okay, that's over there. Yeah. Somebody didn't follow the rules over there. I have to talk to my mini producer over there and might have to reprimand him. No, but wrestling, man. Wrestling.
Back to you, Lee, man. You got to finish that because...
Oh, yes, please.
That's where it started. That's where it really started.
So, we trained right there at Eric Hackett's, and I was like, hey, wait, good job. You just got to get in shape, cabrón, you know? So he's like, all right. And sure enough, he started getting in shape. We started training. He started, working out.
Well, when I met you, you look good. You still look good, Bobby. You were like, you know what I'm saying?
I was the most undisciplined fighter ever, bro. I'll admit it. I hated running. I hated exercise.
Nah, you were, but then you.
But the thing is,
once you became a coach,
you gotta remember though, dude. The thing is that we could roll for hours, bro. We never got tired. We can box for hours. But you put me on the concrete weight, 3 blocks weight, I'm fucking throwing up. I could fight a whole 20 minutes nonstop. But it was a different cardio, and I never liked running. To this day, I can't do it, dude. I hate it.
That was his kryptonite.
I was my kryptonite. But
So
if we stand there and we box, we're gonna box forever. But
once that happened with Ilario, what was the other team's name? Imperial Combat Grappling.
Combat Grappling.
Combat Grappling with Johnny and
then you had Brawly Brawlers with Joel and those guys.
I couldn't remember the name. Brawley Brawlers.
Yeah,
That's
with
right.
the Dueñas.
Yeah.
And the Duffys.
The Duffies.
Right. So they
Going back
before they even existed, it was kind of us in Combat Grappling, and then they started doing their thing because Alex was fighting, and then he took his team out there and whatnot, and they had a couple of guys fighting. Once that happened, and I was starting involving myself with Ilario and a couple more fighters.
Yeah.
That's when we're talking about like we're fighting the same people. The valley's too small.
Yeah.
We're always competing against each other. I wanted to create a team that pretty much everybody was involved. So
and not to mention that you start to create that tension within the valley here, and that's something we didn't want. You know what I mean?
And during that time, while I was doing that, deciding what I was going to do, Ilario had already started Hopeville
Fight Club.
The Hopeville Fight Club. So he started the Hopeville Fight Club, and then that's when we got together and I was like, hey, wait, you know what? We need to get together. We need to bring the teams together. Talk to Nacho too.
Yeah.
Luis Arbile was my other coach.
And man.
Yeah.
The original dirty.
Well, we'll get to Louis in a second.
We'll get to Louis. And Luis Arbile was one of my other coaches. It was the head coach was my Luis Arbile, Ilario, Nacho, and myself.
Yeah.
The thing right there is we had a pretty much structure and mutual respect that it was crazy because it was like unsaid words, but we pretty much knew what's up, like we didn't have to say anything.
Everybody knew each other's strengths.
Their strength, this guy right here, once we started Team United, and I invited all the clubs from Brawley, Hopeville, Ivy Combat, everybody.
Aron from Calexico.
Aron. Well, before Aron, it was Jacobo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Eddie Jacobo came down first.
Yeah.
So Eddie Jacobo, and they didn't have a lot of people, but we invited everybody. And that's when we started training out of my garage, any garage that was available.
Anything, yeah.
And then that's when we went to Jerry's house as well as Alizar. Jerry joined us because of Alex, his brother.
Yeah.
Started getting involved with us and
the OG
teaching
referee.
us. Right, the OG referee.
Yeah.
And then that's when pretty much Ilario was kind of like our little, I guess you want to say, ambassador of creating
finding
our
places
spots,
to fucking go,
finding places to train.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think you ever got enough credit for that. Because you would always find a spot.
We just needed room. We just needed places.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude,
He's the one who got the deal done with Hopeville. They needed the boxing club was dead.
Yeah.
The sports for a non-profit organization for low-income families was dead. Ilario hit me up, was like, hey, what do you think? Well, I was not too fond of the idea of going to Hopeville,
Heber, that was Heber.
Heber. I was not too fond of the idea of going to Heber, but he talked to me and he's like, hey, I think it's a good spot. We could start off there and whatnot. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go look at it.
And for free, bro.
And for free. And we're getting back to a community. I grew up in nothing but, and I'm pretty sure we all did.
Yeah.
We all grew up in all these pals and nonprofit and to be honest with you, if it wasn't for my coach Weldon, I wouldn't have wrestled in high school, bro.
That's a legend.
Yeah.
That's a valley
If it wasn't
legend
for
right
my
there.
sister who paid for all my stuff, I wouldn't have wrestled in high school.
Yeah.
Weldon is the one who threw me in freestyle.
Yeah.
He would have made me wrestle different heavier weight classes. And I would wrestle Greco-Roman freestyle. So, that's one of the things I actually want to do in the future. I actually was going to create a podcast, and I wanted to bring him on for my first coach.
Do it, baby. Do it.
And just because, I have a lot to thank him for.
Yeah.
And a lot of my coaching, I get it from him, basic skills. And that's one of the things I think we probably didn't know as much as other gyms. But basic skills, and that's what we're killing people with, with basic fundamentals.
I get that a lot now, bro. Still talking to guys that are still in the game that remember us, that there's a lot of guys that are still doing it that are just like, dude, you taught us a lot because it was the fundamentals and it was just head down, get tough, and suck it up. You hit a point last time with Rafa. you know, where'd you start and this, that, and the other, and how we made him cry and this, that, and the other, and we threw him against Justin in his first day, bro. And I remember Justin beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Poor kid. And we knew, and we knew Uli fix his kid.
Yeah.
Like, take him.
Yeah.
Because that was his style of fighting.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's really technical. He's strong. That was Yuli's style. If it was just a brawler, hey, send him to Nacho or send him to Ilario. Because he's just going to let him get his ass whooped until that guy gets tired and then fuck him up.
Until he goes home.
Yeah. So, like Uli says, we complimented everybody's style. We never stepped on anybody's toes. And when it said there was no head coach, there was no... everybody had a key, and all you wanted to do on that team was get in that room. You know, at the armory.
Yeah,
get in that room.
That little, like, was it like a 10 by 10 room?
Yeah,
it was small.
I'll tell you that story when we were working out. And we're all working out at the beginning of the workout. One of the, maybe, what was it? We're 3 weeks that we were there already.
Yeah.
And we're working out, and we have so many people, and the roof is low.
Yeah.
So we didn't know it. But, next thing you know, I'm kind of feeling tired, but I can't feel tired, and he can't feel tired. And hey, we're the ones who are leading.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the hell? When am I getting tired?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm seeing people like just breathing hard. And next thing you know, there's like a room separate, and I think Roanillo, he was like. like if he was like hanging for dear life, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I saw everybody just had a weird face, and I was like, you know what? Everybody get out.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew carbon dioxide poisoning, bro.
We were killing the kids.
That's what we had to open up those windows up there, right?
Everything, bro. And then
we went outside, we opened doors, we didn't go in for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And actually we ended up doing a light workout just because it was bad, bro.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And that's what it is that's what we pushed ourselves to. We knew we can push ourselves that far, and those were the days, man.
I think we grew big once after we were there at Heber. Ilario ended up taking off to the National Guard in the Armory, right? They called us from there. We spoke about it. You know what, Ilario, go.
Yeah.
Let's start something over there.
Yeah.
He went. He started a program over there, jiu-jitsu program, nonprofit as well in El Centro, which at the end of the day, that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
So he started, he's like, hey, I want to introduce you to the class, that way they can get more coaches and bring in the guys, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that was all it was for, bro. It was just a stepping stone to something else bigger.
Right.
I mean, we need something bigger.
And sure
the
enough,
armory, couldn't go bad.
Sure enough, I went over there. Ilario ran the class, introduced me. I ran a little bit of the class. And we did that for a couple of days, and next thing you know, the guys from the army was like, hey man, we want this full time, like, what's up, what can we do? And that's when we sat down as a team, the 4 coaches, and we're like, hey, what's up, what do you guys want to do? And we're like, let's do it, So
we had everything sponsored, dude. The mats, we had everybody in the community was like, hey, dude, I got extra mats.
Yeah.
Hey, I got extra this. I got extra
I
that.
think you brought in the Muay Thai bag, right?
You brought in the Muay Thai bag.
We brought in all those bags.
Carlos Romero gave me a kicking pad for Taekwondo.
Yeah.
He gave me Carlos Romero was one of the guys too that went and trained at my house, and he was trying to get involved with us.
Someone brought in those foam pads on the wall.
That was the Oville mat from the 60s.
Yeah.
That was that piece that we had to put it together. Remember, we put that thing like a puzzle, like you put it on wrong.
Spraying the glue on the wall.
I
remember that. Yeah.
That was Yuli's like carport cover for a long time too. And like green cover, I know that, man.
Yeah, but that was our wall work though.
That was the wall work.
I remember that mat pretty well. It's full of blood.
But that, like you said, that going into the army is where it kind of solidified that we were an official team, and we were respected in the community, in the MMA community all over Southern California.
Yeah,
because
we're sponsored by the National Guard. That was big because we
they put our name out. They advertised on their letterboards.
One of the things we did for them too is they would recruit other recruitees that were out of shape. They would we had a cardio class.
Right, remember?
So we had a kids class, youth, and then adult class. But before all that, we had a cardio class. It was a 1 hour class. All of us remember that.
And it wasn't easy either.
That was the grind. That was the test.
And right there, we also had our. That's when once we got to the National Guard Army, that's when Ceasar came along, maybe like a month, 2 months later.
You were just graduating high school, huh?
He was just graduating.
I had 2 years out of high school. I had a dream of wrestling, right? And it didn't go through. and had my brother talking to Yuli on the side. Hey, I got my brother. He knows how to wrestle. He knows how to wrestle.
Shout out to Adam.
Adam has always been involved with us because of wrestling. You know, he's always whatever we need. We need a mat move. Let's go. You need tape. Let's go. I'll donate it.
No,
That guy was like,
Adam was always very supportive.
He was very supportive.
To this day,
To
bro.
this day,
Yeah, he's still training at Roberts right now, and he's training jiu-jitsu now.
Dude,
He's a hardcore white belt.
Yeah, he got the three stripes,
I saw
man.
that. I was like, yeah,
I
white
saw
belt.
pictures of him. He's been hitting the
Oh,
gym.
man, he hits the gym. He goes on his lunch break. He wakes up at 5 a.m, gets through it. 7 o'clock, he's at Roberts training on his lunch break, and then he doesn't stop till 1 and does it all over again. He probably sleeps about 4 hours.
So Ceasar, now tell me your story. Now tell me how you got started. I know you started to touch on it, but let's go to you.
So I had my brother telling me this whole time, hey, I got my friend Yuli. He who needs your wrestling. He needs your wrestling. Go by there.
Yeah.
I'm just pushing it off. I don't know anything about fighting. And along the ways, I also had like Pee Wee that would ask me, "Hey man, come help me out with the wrestling." I know you're. So the whole time, my whole life, I'd been wrestling.
Yeah.
Since 12 years old. Finally, I go through. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop in there one day. So I show up with my wrestling shoes.
Yeah.
And I show up with like a little shirt. And I look over onto this mat, the big giant green mats, as soon as I walk through the door.
Just don't tell me you showed up with a singlet.
Nah, man.
All right.
I showed up in shorts and shirt. It was a PG. It was PG. It was PG.
Yuli was ready.
Hey, he had the blood rag.
Oh, man.
2 fingers in the holster.
Oh, man.
Shooting roofies at the kid. Like,
So, I mean, don't throw me. I show up, right, and I'm seeing right off the bat. I mean, I recognize Stuart Cole's there that day.
Yeah.
Stuart Cole had dropped in, and if you don't know Stuart Cole, then you probably have been around wrestling. But this guy's a machine on the mat.
Yeah.
The guy's a monster.
him and
Caleb Smith were
Caleb Smith,
Jesse,
man, shout out to Smith.
and
Dude.
Jesse Miramontes was going wrestling there too.
James, Caleb, AJ, man, those guys are machines.
We had a group of people that would go in, help us with wrestling. Nonetheless, that kid was there because he was going to go to college. So he was trying to
Get in shape and everything.
Get in shape and stay in shape.
Stay in shape. Yeah.
So he went, Cole went, AJ went, and that's the first day that I met him. And then, so they brought, Cole's like, hey, well, I want to work out, blah, blah, blah. And at the time, we're in the cardio class, and Caesar's running. And I'm like, Caesar, get your ass over here.
So, I mean, keep in mind, this is my first day. And
First day.
I'm walking in, and I see them all, and I'm just like, well, why can't we be part of that? Little did I know. I mean, I knew who Stuart Cole was, but then I look at Yuli, and I mean, I hear stories of Yuli. Like growing up, like, you hear of Johnny Torres wrestling, and you hear of all these machines, right? And you hear Yuli's all these kids tossed out there, Cordova, Ishmael Cordova. I see Yuli, I'm just like, I know he knows how to wrestle, but I'm that little kid that like to push that button. So I'm like, hey, he calls me over, and I go over, and I'm kind of like, I'm gonna get my shot, but Alex Garcia's on that mat. Ulises Cortez, Stuart Cole, and it's just like
AJ Smith.
AJ Smith, and now he's like, all right, we're gonna see what you got. Your brother's been right on
Let's go. Let's see what you got.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I told him.
It was a complete shit show.
That first the first 3 takedowns, Alex blasted me. Boom, off the mat. I remember. I gotta make up for this.
Yeah.
So I get
Alex was so smooth, bro.
Yeah.
I've never, from a smaller wrestler.
Yeah.
I've never been picked up like Alex picked me up, and it was right there at the National Guard. I had already wrestled with him before.
It's probably high single.
No. He did a double, and he just,
I've been there. You did that to me a couple times.
So smooth,
to be a part of a program since you were practically born with. You know what I mean? That kid has so much. Like, to this day, you look at him. Smooth. It's very technical, very smooth, very effortless.
Powered.
That was just insane. That's what I always loved about that dude.
Yeah, his technique. He was so like relaxed when he wrestled him, but then all of a sudden your legs are in the air.
I think he ended up being one of the coaches on one of the seasons of Ultimate Fighter.
The story on that is, I remember I was working with him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take off for like about 2-3 months." I'm like, "Oh, where are you going?" "Oh, Dominic Cruz is gonna pick me up. We're gonna go to Vegas."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, cool." Shows up in his GTR 35, picks him up, and they're gone. I'm like, Like it wasn't even where he sent someone. Like he legit like, and being in the San Diego gym with Alex, I saw him do some crazy stuff to Jeremy Stevens, Toby Amada. Like he got the better of him in a lot of those battle rooms that you don't see behind camera. But
look what he did to Nate Diaz. Come on.
He handled him.
He was handling him. Yeah. Just that, where he lacked was jiu-jitsu, and Nate is a monster.
And that's another thing. We never made an excuse from where we came from. No. There was never an excuse. We proved ourselves in every promotion we went to because we cleaned house. Yeah. We had 6 fights on the card. We're cleaning house. We go anywhere, and it was like, it wasn't the excuse like, oh, you're from the Valley. Oh, you're Alex from the Valley. You're Johnny Torres from the Valley. You're so-and-so. You're bad motherfuckers from the Valley.
Speaking of cleaning house, I remember those days, man, when the events in Mexicali. Bro, like, I mean... And you got to give the credits due to the gyms in Mexicali.
Yeah, Ichino has been an OG.
Ichino, we've always helped them out. If you recall, as well, one of the other things that
shout out
we
to
did,
Pepe.
One of the things that with Mexicali,
me out.
Hey man,
we'll get to that.
That was a war though. It went back and forth. Man.
Yeah, no, and those guys are still doing it, man.
Yeah. I see him. He still has his gym.
They're still doing it. Back then, that's when once we started fighting and we had the club. It was like, okay, there's nowhere to go, participate. Here locally. Yeah. Get us more experience, more fights. We're obviously a lot of people probably don't even know, but
we're at a standstill.
Frank Shamrock, Tito Ortiz, all those guys, they started fighting in TJ. TJ is a mecca for
Brandon
all
Vera,
MMA.
All the Lions guys.
Dean Lister.
War Machine.
Manny, Manolo, ese güey.
Manolo Huracán. Manny Jimenez. He's been in the game forever, A lot of people don't know. He used to be a good fighter. Yeah. But he's part of that era, the Tito Ortiz, the Shamrock,
And he knows all of it though, and it's funny because when I moved up to San Diego probably a few years later, and he goes and he's like, hey, well, who do you train with? Yeah. And I mean, no one likes to name drop, especially if you go to gyms, right? But I trained out there, Ulises, Cortez, and I started naming some names. Oh, you're from like Mexicali area. All right, cool. Yeah. Well, let's try you out then. And
that's when he was announcing for Total Combat.
Yeah. Remember? He was announcing for Total Combat. Eric DeFero, who's the head coach for Alliance MMA, he used to have a promotion called Total Combat. Once I got back in the fighting game because of Danny Vasquez, that's another guy we haven't mentioned. But Danny started fighting. He ended up having one fight. The second fight, he called me. I was like, hey, can you help me out? I'm sorry, Danny. I didn't know how to coach back then. Yeah. It was just like he called me and we wrestled and I coached Danny for his senior in high school in wrestling. Yes. So we had that rapport. We had that friendship. Yeah. So, I went to go train him in his garage with at David, his homie David.
Yeah, David.
Chaparrita. I'm sorry.
David.
What? It was a long time ago, bro. Well, no problem.
Head injuries.
I CT in the head too much. So, David, at David's house, and we were wrestling and whatnot, and trying to teach him some moves. Yeah. Very raw, back then I was very raw.
Great wrestling.
They called me like, hey, you want to fight? I hadn't fought in years. I had just gotten off from a abdominal injury that I had a pinched nerve in my abdomen. Yeah. And I had just 2 weeks. I had a big old panza, bro. I hadn't even trained in a year and a half. Damn. And Eric DeFero calls me like, hey, what's up? You want to fight? Heavyweight, this is that. I'm like, fuck it.
And that was the thing with you. I used to, all you guys, but like with you, like I used to trip out because you didn't shy away from these top names, man.
No. We couldn't afford to.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing is that you can't.
We had to lean on each other for advisory because we didn't know what was good for us at that time. We're
like, yeah, it wasn't like, hey, should I take this fight?
And then you have to remember,
Yuli pulled me out from a fight when I want to fight like on plywood. He's like, hey, think about it.
I remember that.
You're gonna go take a shot, you're gonna blow your knee out.
You have to remember at the time we're looking at fighters that weren't still nobodies yet. They were like when Ulises was fighting Bader and all these guys. They were nobodies. They were just on the same level as we were. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We had opportunities to fight big names and go places, but they were nobodies as well. They were fighting. I think Bader was in Arizona still. Yeah. And those opportunities just pop up, and you can't afford to say no. Like I see teams nowadays, and I'm not trying to criticize or talk shit or nothing. Right. But it's a very picky and choosy. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, that guy does this and that. And I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna take that fight. Right. We couldn't afford to because that was our bread and butter. That's our family. We're training for free. We're eating for free. I mean, we partied our prize money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we fight to go to the strip joint and drink all night.
And I think that was a thing because, like, the way I looked at it being so
tight knitted.
That, but I'm trying to think of the right thing. So pure, okay? It's not like now. Once you get into the big money, in my opinion, I think the whole idea of competing changes.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I got big money from Cage of Fire, bro. I was getting paid $5,000 a fight.
Oh, that was a good one. That was.
And now he disclosed it. No, just
Cage
Cage of Fire came. You know, when I started. So back to when I started promoting.
And that was huge money back then.
That was huge money. Yeah. So back then, when you know, Total Combat and the one in TJ.
That was the one that Baby Rock and all those.
No, that's when I fought Michael Pratt in that one.
Yeah. But they were there. They were.
I even did a reality show with that company.
That's when
Max Fights.
That's when you
Max Fights.
Yeah, you handed me over to Louis when you left that.
Yeah.
So you know when I you know before even
tossed around.
I did get tossed around.
We started Max Fights and all that stuff. So one of the things is we didn't have nowhere to participate in. So I was like, you know what? And Mexicali had, Pepe and Camacho, who was the only one who was belted over there in jiu-jitsu. I used to go over there and help him out and train as well. Yeah. Because I was trying to grow the sport.
Yeah.
So one of the things I created the promotion, which is Extreme Full Contact, and it was to get these guys a platform to be able to go participate.
Yeah.
Because nonetheless, you go to all these other promotions and what are they doing? They're
choosing their fighters.
They're choosing their fighters and they're putting inexperienced fighters with experienced fighters and whatnot. Very mismatched fights, and that's one of
it was just to fill a card. That's the problem. Is like
to fill a card, So
get this lucha libre guy and put him.
I mean, how many times did we go to weigh-ins for 2 fighters and we ended up with 6 guys on the card?
Yeah,
because they were like, hey, you got a 125, hey, you got a 155, you got.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got fight ready guys.
Like, they're ready to go.
Yeah, we got fight ready guys, but we need money.
And then that was the life of a promoter that you had to experience, right?
So I did the promotion, and the Comisión de Box y Lucha, they denied me. They denied me. I had tried a couple of times. They denied me. So I was like, well, who governs the Comisión de Box y Lucha? Well, INDECUF does. INDECUF they govern all the sports in general. The young and
so you had to
youth.
Go higher up.
I went up above one, and it was cool because I went and talked to a person there. I think the permit was like $100.
Bro, but there was no commission at the time and there was no.
There was no commission, but it was just a box commission.
Yeah, but like I said, when it came to referees and to officials and timekeepers,
nothing. There's
you
nothing.
had to provide your own.
We did it all by ourselves.
I provided everything with. Like anything I ever did was with the team. It's never an I did this, I did that, because without them, it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
As fighters, as people that helped me roll out the cage, as people that helped me build it, as people that charging tickets, selling tickets, everything. Everybody understood the demographic and it was all about making something for us. Not only that, but I was paying everybody way more than any other company.
Right.
That's when I, hit up all these other companies and was trying to get everybody paid more. I hit up Cage of Fire. I hit up the Max Fights. I hit Total Combat. I was trying to.
Desert Rage.
Hey, if they have 1 to 3 fights, let's pay them this much. 3 to 6 fights, let's pay them this much. So I was trying to create a bracket for fighters because we're getting paid like $200 to $300.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it for the money.
No.
At all.
Did you do it for the money, Ilario?
0.
Did you?
I got $120 and I won my first fight. I won my first fight.
And the thing is that the misconception of what people didn't understand is le están robando la gente, le están robando los fighters. Like a lot of teams did that, bro. A lot of teams made you sign a contract before you signed the real contract. Hey, you're gonna give me 10%.
Look at this, Danny. How much money do you ever pay me for any of your fights?
And how much time do we take you to fights and get you hotels and I mean, we took care of the bill.
I quit. I legit
How many
quit.
days that van?
I remember like when the whole fighting thing happened, and I probably had a month of training when Uli decided, hey, I think we had a grappling tournament where if that was what brought me into the fight, because I wasn't planning on fighting. I was barely trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
And I think I did that grappling tournament where I did go against Joe Diaz, and I went some instructor from San Felipe, and I think
that was in Mexicali on that one shitty basketball court.
Yeah, it was on that Gimnasia Mexicali.
Yeah. Yes.
So I did those 3, and I won. I was like, oh, cool, I won. So I'm hitting the bag, and Ulises taking like some trip out where he's out doing whatever he's doing, and the next I know I get a call and he's like, hey, because I was in the band, man, maybe I should fight. Because I think Tyson fought that same night.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tyson.
Jose Beltran.
Yeah.
He won that fight. And I was thinking maybe I should get a fight.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking, right? I don't have a timeline or anything.
Right.
This guy called me up. Hey, what's up? What are you doing? I'm like, God? Like, he's like, you're gonna fight next month.
Jesus?
What? He's like, yeah, next month you're gonna fight. I'm like, I don't know how to throw hands, Julie. I'm.
And on that note, dude, it's funny that you say that, bro, is because as you progressed, like all our guys, Justin, all these guys that have progressed, it was never one-sided decision. It was like, hey, wait, is Ceasar ready?
Yep.
Hey, wait, you think? And me, Nacho, and Louis, and all of us were like, give him a couple weeks, give him a couple months. There was always meetings behind the scenes.
I remember that, dude.
Yeah.
I remember.
Nobody before Ceasar, nobody that had less than a year that didn't fight already.
Yeah.
Was able to fight, and we didn't have a time frame. It was just if you had it, you had it.
If you had it, you had it.
We had a lot of guys.
If you're dedicating the time, then you're ready. And Ceasar was one kid that he came in, and he just elevated, you know, quick. You know,
Justin,
I did.
Justin.
I ain't gonna lie, we did dedicate a little bit extra time with him because of Adam. You know, Adam was like, hey, ayúdame mi carnal. So I had a little love for him. You know.
Yeah.
So nonetheless, I was, we're putting time in. And that's the thing is like, go with Ilario.
Beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Boom, beat the shit out of him. Nacho, pads.
Yeah.
Me, whatever. Yeah. So we all had our days in it. Ilario was a screamer. He talked to, man, I would just be in the room laughing of the shit that this guy would say. So like, how do you come up with that shit, compa? You can tell he's a Marine, bro. You can tell he's a Marine.
I'm not that gay, bro.
Oh my God, bro. This guy would.
Nah, I think he even drew a couple tears on people when he'd be chewing their asses out.
Honestly, it was the, like when we were in the armory, everybody looked at that second room.
Oh yeah,
that was the room.
Like the room.
That was the room. That's the room.
If you didn't put the work out here, you weren't gonna get invited in that room.
Yeah.
And not everybody would go in there. Hey, what's going on?
That room was like,
And you walk out,
it would glow. It was red.
And everybody would walk out, dude, and it would be like in the middle of the warm ups with the younger kids, and you'd give them a break, and they'd come out, bro, and it's just like zombies.
I remember Ilario, get
like,
the fuck out of there.
Even Alex tried to train with us, and he tried to do his own thing. He was like, hey, bro,
the fuck out of here. Like that's just.
You need to do the floor work first, and then we go in there.
And it was nothing to create animosity.
No.
It was the fact that you earned that spot.
You had to earn it.
Look, if I wasn't getting any special treatment, he's not getting special treatment.
Right.
Nacho's not getting, Luis. Nobody's gonna get.
And when we brought it to attention that we're not getting paid for this, like you don't understand that I'm taking time away from my family, my kids. Shout out to my vieja. Fuck, dude, that girl some shit.
That's a ride or die.
That girl has been with me since day one, and it was like the team mom. And we've all gone through. We all know each other's family and stuff. And it was like, hey, can you watch my kid while I go train? And can you?
We also had Johnny Garza. Johnny Garza and his spouse and his
staple because he was so supportive.
Right. He took care of all our paperwork. And you got, with our secretary Scooby,
I mean, we had to have insurance. We didn't know what insurance was. The liability, remember that?
Yeah, we didn't know nothing about that.
$1 million. Where am I gonna get $1 million from? And the armory provided that insurance.
Like, hey, cabrones. Everybody.
Because dude, we did have a couple injuries. I remember having to go to a hospital with one of the youngsters where he broke his finger or jammed his finger, and I'm sitting there like, I'm not signing this, bro. That's gonna be on my thing. Like, but it was all insured, dude.
Pretty much the kids that's what they would pay is that, and the ones that couldn't pay, we would pay it.
We would sponsor it.
Man, you know what? At that time, because I quit the first time I went in, I trained with Alex and with Yuli. I came back the next day, and that first kid that tapped me out was 13 years old.
No kidding.
Rafa Garcia.
Yeah.
Rafa.
I remember I went to Yuli. I'm like, how do I get better, man? I can't get tapped out by this little guy. I know, right?
Yeah.
Down the road, Rafa becomes this monster, right?
Yeah.
But still, at that point in time, they expected so much. I was like, how do I? So I quit my job. I quit going to school, and I just.
You want to do it full time?
Yeah, I said, Ilario, what are you doing in the morning?
I remember, give me the keys, and I was working a mid shift or something because I would go to work at noon, and I was off at 8, and then I would still go to the gym till about midnight. And this asshole's over here like, hey, what are you doing at 6 in the morning? I was like, dude, I'm fucking trying to sleep. Like, I gotta work this out.
Yeah.
Meet me at the gym.
He'll take me to the Viper. He would open up that little room.
Yeah, let's go to the gym.
So he would teach me something, and then usually in the afternoon, I'd run back to Yuli. Hey, Yuli,
I learned this from Ilario.
I want to try
He's doing it wrong.
So I was doing 2 days, and then it was pretty cool. It's just the aspect. I got to train with Ilario one-on-one.
Yeah.
I run back in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I go train with Yuli, and next thing I know, I'm advancing, and I'm not really realizing it, but
that's why we say we sit and we talk and we're like, hey, this kid's putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's earned the spot to fight. You know, and we what do you guys think? What do you think? Nacho was like the most apprehensive, hardest one to prove.
Man,
he was already boxing. He already had established himself, and he didn't like just throwing people into an event. And we're like, hey, bro, this is MMA. It's not boxing.
I'll never forget when Nacho. I went to Nacho, and everybody's scared to get patted by Nacho because if you
he hit you back.
If you pat with Nacho, he's gonna pop you. And everybody's scared to pat with Nacho. And Nacho, ay, cabrón, dame uno. Like all like lazy. I just remember that first one just. Boom! Right across the face. I'm just, oh Jesus!
That was the initiation.
I was like, oh okay. And then like he's sitting there, like he's like has that look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, are you gonna ask me to throw the second one?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm like, you know, I know that these guys are watching me, so I'm like, I know you're gonna beat my ass, but hey, if I gotta learn this way, I'm gonna learn.
Yeah.
And Nacho opened up, and I kind of developed a bond with Nacho. He's like, oh, okay, vente pa acá, cabrón. We're taking Mex, get your ass beat over there now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
But that's the thing is, like I said, everybody had their 2 cents. I guess I wouldn't say it where it was a team thing because we weren't gonna just let like Justin would be like, hey, dude, I need to fight. I need money. I was like, you're not fighting.
Yep.
You know, Ernie. I mean, all these guys would be like, hey, bro, can I get a fight? Or other teams would come to us because Yuli had the hookup for the promotion.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, can you squeeze me in a fight? I was like, come train.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of guys, I'm not gonna name names because I'm not that guy no more. But we had a system where we wouldn't tell people.
You've changed?
Yeah, I've changed for the better. Yes, I've changed. But
This is getting scary here, bro.
we had a system. Remember
Pinch me, Caesar.
Remember we wouldn't tell people what we were doing the next day because when people knew it was grappling day, it was grappling day. If it was boxing day, it was boxing day.
Yeah.
If you walked in, you saw Nacho in the middle of the mat. You're like, fuck. And I was like that because we weren't coaches when the other guy had the mat.
Yeah.
We were trying to sneak into the room, be like, hey, come on, let's go roll.
Yeah.
No, véngase pa acá.
Yeah.
And we had those trash cans at the end of the mat, dude, because if you didn't throw up, you didn't work hard enough.
Yeah.
And it was like you're throwing up, and Nacho's kicking you, like get back on the mat. I'm like,
That
we
was
were,
crazy.
we were rough around the edges, and don't just say Nacho, cabrón.
no, all of us were, definitely, dude. But like I said, bro,
This one guy was the worst because he beat your ass and then he verbal abused you too.
but that's like Rafita said, dude. He said it. He's like, bro, that's how that team was, and that's how. Just because we wanted you to earn the right to be there.
You know what? We didn't have time for BS. You know, plain and simple is. If you wanted to train, we're here. If you didn't, it's like Robañiños.
Yeah.
Jesus Alemán. To call him by his real name.
Yeah.
Jesus Alemán.
The story behind it.
Yeah.
So he shows up to Heber, right?
Yeah.
Robañiños. We call him Robañiños because he shows up to Heber, and he pulls up in this big old school van with a big old
Blacked
3x4 freaking window in the back that opens and shit. And little motherfuckers are peeking through the back window, and then he gets off, and all these little kids come out of there. I'm like, bro, and he's like 19, 18, bro. You know? I'm like, are you smuggling kids or what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
So we started calling him Robañiños, and you know,
and it stuck.
you know,
We just call him Roba after that.
Yeah.
So that's what the thing is. I think they were either scared to give me a nickname or you earned it, man. You know, and that nickname.
A lot of people learn from Robañiños because I kicked them out of the team.
Yeah.
You know, just like I kicked a couple of guys out of the team. Robañiños, he was the type that would be doing push-ups and looking at me.
Yeah.
Or I'd catch him when Ilario was doing the cardio.
Yeah.
He was always like,
And when we said kick him, bro, it was literally we kick.
Kick him.
you know, all I had to do, Ilario go like this, and Ilario's like, boom, you know, or vice versa. We knew what's up,
I
you know,
remember you kicked
and
him
we would
up, bro.
stand, you know, people would be doing flutter kicks, we'd stand on their stomach.
Yeah.
If they were slacking off, you know, we didn't mess around, bro.
I remember.
We're vicious, bro. I told him, get the F out of here. I told him. lose 30 pounds and then come back because you're not serious about this. And he was, chubby at the time.
Man.
So he takes off. A month later, he's like,
I lost 20 pounds, I think he said. It was close to 20 pounds he almost lost.
No, he did lose the weight that we said. Yeah, because I popped out the scale. I'm like, get on the scale.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 20, not 30.
That was Heber.
And I'm like, Heber. Yeah, it was in Heber. And I popped out the scale. I'm like, get on the scale. Boom. Okay, go train.
Yeah.
Because he lost the weight.
I got kicked out.
You got kicked out too?
When I hit the pads right, he's like, all right, let's pad you. And I go and I'm pitter-pattering on the pads. He's like,
go outside.
I'm not going to waste my time. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I was like, go where? He's like,
go where?
Get out of here. I had never been kicked out of a gym. He's like, just get out of here. So I went back to my room for a weekend. I'm like, just practice pivoting the whole weekend. I came back, Uli, look.
You have to remember, dude, it wasn't about that. It was about the effort you put in. You know what I mean? Because, dude, everybody had a job. Everybody had work. Everybody had their life. You come to the gym, you better put 10 times much more effort than you did the rest of your day because we don't have time for it.
We didn't have time, like Ilario said, look at his schedule. Yeah. My schedule was a little bit more reasonable because I worked as a CEO, so I worked from 6 to 2.
Yeah.
But I was a single dad, so with 50% custody of my kids, so they would come home, I would cook, homework, and then I adopted all these guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Bring the kids to the gym and be like, sit in the corner and do homework.
My son Julian, he pretty much grew up in the gym. He was there since he was not even a year old.
I remember he called me fat boy one time.
That kid would be at all the weigh-ins and all that.
Man,
this kid gets the first.
This kid called me fat boy.
How does this kid get a VIP pass? I don't even got a VIP pass.
And same thing, like Rafa, talked about me kicking him out. Same thing, he, I didn't. One of the things, if you didn't have the grades, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that was implemented on us as far as like wrestling in high school.
Yeah.
Anybody get a 2.0, bro. Yeah. Like, really, if you don't have a 2.0, you could get it without trying.
I know.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, to me, that was no excuse. If you came in with low grades, get
everybody. Remember, we pulled the report cards. I remember we pulled report cards and kids wouldn't show up on purpose. It's like,
quit school.
Yeah.
I think that was your idea.
Well, I had to, bro. Because the thing we were having kids like Rafa coming in that had so much potential, but couldn't make a wrestling team.
Right.
And you're sitting there and you had these kids. I can't remember that kid's name from Central. He was cousins to Spider. What was his name?
To Spider Monkey?
Yeah, Spider Monkey. It was his little nephew or his cousin. He couldn't get on the team because he didn't have the grades. And
I remember they brought someone over, but they didn't stick around long. That's probably why.
A lot of people did that though.
A lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people rolled in one time, and that was it.
How many people we had at the Armory?
At the Armory, at one time, our highest, just on the beginners class, was about 75. Because we would split the teams. It was the 5:30 and then the 7:30, and then the fight team. I think we had 30.
Easy.
Yeah.
Just the guys that.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, and we would specifically focus on. You have a fight.
Get in the room.
Get you in the room and go get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're not, you're gonna go help the man.
There was a trainer there that, I knew he was a trainer, but I didn't know how much he knew. He was super quiet the whole time, and so around the time of the Max fights, so usually brings him over. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna take off for a while. I'm gonna leave you with this guy." And I look over and I see him. This guy's kind of creepy, man. Yeah. He gave me that creepy vibes.
Oh, it was like that with everybody, bro.
And I see him looking at me like,
Because I think I even asked Uli one time. I go, "Hey, I don't think he likes me, bro." So why do you say that?
He just want to kiss
nothing to me. Yeah.
And he introduced Luis Arbao at that time.
Yeah.
This is Louis.
Yeah.
I call him Louis.
Yeah.
Little did I know later on it'd be Papa Louis, right?
Yeah.
He's a guy. He's like, man, that guy knows his shit. He does his homework, and
he was a beast.
I didn't know he was good at jits. I didn't know he was like.
Louis was the only one at the time that was actually taking classes, legit classes for jiu-jitsu. So he was actually balloted. One of the reasons why I had him there too is for that reason is his strength was traditional jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
One of the things we implemented is we wanted to know the basis of jiu-jitsu, but nonetheless, we always threw the wrestling into it because back then, bro, we would just, and you say why my jiu-jitsu was underrated is because I threw a lot of my wrestling into it. Yeah. And back then, all these jiu-jitsu guys used to rolling slow, and I was rolling
the fast pace.
Yeah. That's all we could do.
Transitions, and that's what this guy brought into his game and his fight game too. He, one of the things with him is I always told him, and I didn't teach him this, by the way. I'm not taking credit for it. You know, he already had it when he came.
Yeah.
And because he came from Mr. Smith, you know, AJ Smith and Caleb Smith's dad.
Yeah.
You know, he would hit one shot and then hit you with two more, you know. And AJ Smith and Caleb used to help me when I became a champ. They're the ones who helped me with my training, you know. So this guy would just hit angles and just be, you know, he's wrestling with guys way bigger than him, and he's just finding by hitting angles he doesn't have to carry the weight.
Yeah.
So he figured out that it was beneficial, so he just perfected his skill. But nonetheless, that's the reason we had Luis Arbao there. Luis Arbao was a great asset to our team, great coach.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Great guy to rely on. Very
Oh shit. Okay, what happened?